Another big week in gaming has gone by, bringing us tons of crazy news. Let's hop into this video without wasting any more time. But before we do that, do me a favor, you guys, like the video, consider subscribing, and with that, let's get into this. So starting off news hard with the big N, we have a couple games that were dropped for the Nintendo Switch Online base tier. So for Game Boy, they dropped Kirby's Dream Land 2 and Burger Times, both solid entries into the Game Boy. If you haven't given them a shot, go ahead and give them a shot. We have a video on the channel of us trying these games out. We had tons of fun playing them, so give that one a shot if you haven't. We have Side Pocket for the SNES. I don't have any history with this game. It just looks like Billiard on SNES. So if you're into that, it's there for you guys. And then they dropped Xevious for the NES, and this is pretty much your basic shoot 'em up. There's nothing fancy about it. It's just a very classic shoot 'em up. There's nothing wrong with it, so definitely give it a shot if you guys want to. I will say, with them dropping Metroid Fusion for Game Boy Advance, and then now dropping these games for the Game Boy, SNES, and NES, it is starting to fill up very quickly with how Nintendo is dropping games into these Nintendo Switch Online tiers. So I'm very excited for that. I feel like we've come a long way from them having the most disliked video back when they had the expansion pass drop versus what we have now in 2023. And I feel like as long as they keep this going, they're definitely on a right path with the releases with this expansion pass and the NSO just base tier. Reviews are in for Nintendo's newest game, Bayonetta Origins: Cereza and the Lost Demon. It is coming very impressive with an 80% on Metacritic. Most reviewers touting how it is a great change of pace and it's a great story for Bayonetta, with some people touting that it does get a little repetitive and the gameplay loop doesn't offer enough to differentiate itself later on in the game. With that being said, me and my wife both tried out the demo. We both love the demo. I encourage you guys to try it out. The save data does carry on into the full game if you guys like it. I did pick up the full game, so hopefully we're going to give that one a shot. Look forward to a review coming out later. With that, I am very excited for this game, but I feel like a lot of people aren't really as hyped up for this game. With that being said, it is a really good sign that even this late into the Nintendo Switch lifespan, it is coming out with games. It is coming out with good games that are reviewing really well and are very different still for this console. So that's just really impressive for a console this late to be dropping games like this. And it's great to see that they're still experimenting and they're still willing to take risks on titles like this. And on the topic of the Nintendo Switch being an older console, there have been rumors spreading around about the Nintendo Switch 2. I mean, there's been rumors since the console pretty much released about the Nintendo Switch 2 or Nintendo Pro, whatever you want to call it. But this year it does seem a little bit more accurate and a little bit more believable, with a lot of sources kind of stating that this is going to be the last year and this is going to be kind of a slower year for Nintendo as they prepare for the successor. And I feel like most people are kind of on board with this idea. Someone who isn't on board, though, is Doug Bowser, president of Nintendo of America. So Doug Bowser was asked by the Daily Mail, pretty much straightforward, when is the successor to the Nintendo Switch coming out? I don't know what they were thinking. Like, I don't know if they were expecting him to come out and just tell them. I mean, I guess it's worth a shot. Shoot your shot when you can get it. The only thing that they were able to get out of Doug Bowser was him stating that one of the things we look at always is how can we surprise and delight. How can we introduce new, unique ways of playing? And I feel like all Nintendo gamers kind of got scared when they heard him say unique and different ways of playing. I think it is kind of a very Nintendo thing to get something that is great and kind of drop the ball by mixing things up or adding something super crazy quirky with it. I feel like in this specific situation, though, Doug Bowser is just doing his traditional PR speak. I feel like he can't just outright say, yes, the successor's coming, or yes, this is accurate, etc., etc. I feel like this is just his way of saying, don't worry about the next Switch. Focus on this Switch that you guys have. Focus on how unique this is. And he's pretty much just trying to change the conversation. So I feel like there isn't too much to be worried about yet. With that being said, it is Nintendo. They're going to find a way to do something unique with the next successor. And hopefully it's just something that we can all get behind, and they don't do another Wii U situation here. On the same topic of new hardware, there has been rumors of a new PS5 Pro supposedly in development or being planned out by Sony. Insider Gaming has stated that they have a source that has confirmed Sony's intentions on releasing a PS5 Pro. And if the rumors are to be believed, it is set to release late in 2024. I feel like it's just so funny that the PS5 is finally on store shelves. It's finally getting into the hands of people who want it. And then the conversation of PS5 Pro already comes into question. I don't know how true this is. I feel like it would make sense, being as the PS4 had its PS4 Pro roughly around that time. With that being said, I feel like the PS5 generation, 9th generation of consoles are finally getting started. I feel like next year would kind of be really soon and almost unnecessary for a hardware refresh, especially with the PS5 like specs have yet to be fully developed and fully realized so far. So why would you be so in a hurry to develop a PS5 Pro? So I feel like maybe they have a PS5 Pro being like R&D'd, but I don't think they have really any plans on releasing a PS5 Pro just this yet. With that being said, anything is possible. I do think it is really funny though how the Nintendo Switch is 6 years old and we still haven't seen any sizable refresh to the Nintendo Switch. Yet the PS5, which is already the next generation of gaming, already in the conversation of next hardware. And I feel like it's just, if they do come out with a PS5 Pro and Nintendo Switch doesn't come out with the successor to Nintendo Switch, it is going to be a larger gap between the Nintendo Switch and current generation. And it's just very interesting to see how far away Nintendo can be comparative to the competitors. And the Sony PlayStation rumors keep coming in. So more recently, a new Superman game has been supposedly in development, and it was leaked out via Microsoft's legal team. They referenced a PlayStation Superman game in a document responding to the CMA, and most news outlets, however, were quick to shut this down, saying that it was most likely a typo by the legal team, and what they were actually referencing, not a Superman game, but actually a Spider-Man, or the Spider-Man game that has been exclusive to Sony PlayStation. And I think it's just really funny how I think people forget that these legal teams or these executives that work in these companies aren't gamers and aren't really privy to the culture. So for them, Spider-Man, Superman, it's all the same thing. They just see superheroes in games. So they kind of just associated both of them together. But the idea of an Insomniac developed Superman game would just be so dope. With, I think, their output lately with their games has just been on another level currently, with Ratchet and Clank and the Spider-Man game coming out. Hopefully Wolverine delivers. So I feel like the idea of them developing a Superman game would just be super cool. I feel like they would get the flying mechanic right, and then just the feeling indestructible idea would just be really cool to see that come out. Here's hoping. I feel like March just started, but here we are with the announcement of the next PlayStation Plus game coming to us. And we have Meteor Maker. Meteor Maker is a game developed by Behavior Interactive. It is set to release April 4th for all PlayStation Plus Essential and higher tiers. So the game, based off of what I got, it's a first-person shooter raid game with building mechanics. So it does seem to offer something different to the first-person shooter genre. So pretty much how it is you're on one side of the map and the other person on the other side of the map, and you're tasked with building an outpost, and then they build their outpost. And then you kind of just have to go and try to kill each other and invade each other's outposts. And the way you go about building your outposts is going to be, I think, the exciting part. So you can do things like you can build a maze, or you can just set up traps, kind of dungeon style. So based off what I've seen and what I heard, it does sound really cool. I'm very interested, so I can't wait to check this game out. I'm curious to see the reception a game like this is going to receive from people. Just because I feel like with first-person shooters, people always ask for innovation, and then when they're given innovation, they kind of throw it off and then want something different. So here's hoping this gets good reception. Here's hoping people can hop onto this one. Something that has been getting rave receptions and good reviews is Resident Evil 4 Remake, coming out with a solid 93 on Metacritic, and everyone pretty much touting how this game is in every way an elevation and a step up for Capcom and their Resident Evil kind of reboot remake series that they've been coming out with. And I've just been super excited for this one. I checked out the Chainsaw demo, had tons of blast. I was smiling ear to ear every single moment. So I'm just very excited to see this one come out on top without any really hiccups. And it's gonna be expected, right? Resident Evil 4 was already an amazing game. So you get the same game structure, you modernize it, super clean up the graphics, and it's just gonna be an amazing game. With that being said, I feel like this does throw into question of, can a remake win Game of the Year? If there is any remake deserving of Game of the Year, it's most likely going to be Resident Evil 4. But is that just unfair for all the other games that came out? I feel like it's going to be a very interesting topic if this gets nominated. And let's just all prepare for the internet discourse and Twitter arguing back and forth whenever this does get nominated. I feel like this has been a very big month and almost couple years for Capcom, as they've just been delivering masterpiece after masterpiece, and tons of exciting and highly anticipated games. Something that I feel like isn't as highly anticipated is Exoprimal. The beta did just drop today, and I feel like a lot of people have been liking this game, surprisingly. I did check it out. I played a couple hours of it, and I want to say it is a lot of fun. The structure of the game is fun. The idea of it is really cool. It is very different, I think, and it's just off the wall silly. With that being said, it is a live service game. Here's hoping it can stay alive. I feel like Capcom is invested in this. They are throwing it day and date on Game Pass, so hopefully that helps out with the numbers. And let's just see if people can get behind this one with its just over the top crazy nature. The beta is running all weekend, so it'll be March 17th, 18th, and 19th. So don't take my word for it. Try it out, you guys. You have nothing else to lose, really. The matches do run a little long for a type of game like this, but it is pretty interesting. From one live service game to the next live service game, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League has reportedly been delayed. Jason Schreier was the one who initially came out with the report. He's rarely wrong whenever he reports things like this, and a couple other people have also agreed on this one, that it is roughly 6 months to potentially even a year going to be delayed. And the kind of agreement amongst everyone is that due to the poor reception, that it's going to be taking more time to develop and kind of just fix some things up. With that being said, everyone kind of agrees that all the things that people hate about this game are locked into this game and built into the structure of what this game is. So unless they were to completely re-scrap the game, there's no way they're going to really make any sizable adjustments to the game. And this game is pretty much coming out the way no one wants it to. With that being said, I think the game plan for WB is just take the game out of the conversation for a minute and kind of reintroduce it to people. Hopefully they can reintroduce it with a different kind of approach that might get some people excited, or just kind of restructure their delivery on this game. With all that being said, I don't know who's really excited for this game after all we've seen of it, and kind of just the disappointing reception has not been really fun to watch. Well, that's been this week in gaming. Tons of stuff happened. Let me know if you guys are going to be checking out Bayonetta Origins, or if you guys are going to be buying Resident Evil 4 next week. I'll see you guys on the next video.